Right now at noon, an Amber Alert issued for a missing pregnant teenager, what we know about her and who she may be with. Plus, China hits back as new tariffs take effect, what experts say about the impact. This is News 3 Now at noon. Thanks for joining us today at noon. I'm Josh Breiter. We begin with continuing coverage on that Amber Alert here in Wisconsin. 16-year-old Sophia Martha Franklin was last seen at her home on Sunday night. Police say she is 3 months pregnant and believed to be with 40-year-old Gary Day, who is the father of her unborn child. There is a no contact order between the two. Day is believed to be driving a 2014 Buick LaCrosse with an Arkansas license plate that reads BBR20L. If you have any information on their whereabouts, you are asked to contact Beaver Dam Police. Right now, one person is dead after a shooting in Beloit. Police say that person died at the scene. It happened Monday afternoon on Wisconsin Avenue. There's no word on any arrests. The Rock County Sheriff's Office is investigating that incident. A nationwide recruitment process is underway to find a new Dane County Airport director. That's according to reporting from the State Journal. It comes after leadership under Kim Jones, the current director, grew so poor it sparked a 3-month investigation in 2023. She had been routinely unavailable to make key decisions about the airport and neglected messages from her staff and representatives of Southwest Airlines. The investigation also found that she lied to employees and ghosted officials. Jones is the county's 4th highest paid employee with a salary of $228,000. In emails to investigators, Jones denied all complaints against her. Air Wisconsin is expected to cut around 500 employees. Their corporate offices are in Appleton, but they fly to and from the Dane County Airport. It comes from a letter from the company saying they are doing a strategic shift in operations. This is in part due to termination of the company's capacity agreement with American Airlines. The Trump administration's tariff on Chinese goods is now in effect this afternoon, prompting swift retaliation from China. Natalie Brand is at the White House with what comes next.
With the Trump administration's tariffs on China now in effect, China is punching back, saying it will impose tariffs of its own on U.S. imports. The White House says President Trump plans to speak to Chinese President Xi Jinping soon.
The president made it very clear with the 10% tariff on China that he is not going to allow China to continue to source and distribute deadly fentanyl into our country.
Starting next week, China says it will impose a 15% tariff on coal and liquefied natural gas products coming from the U.S., as well as a 10% tariff on crude oil, agricultural machinery, and large engine cars.
This time they have a slightly different strategy of hitting oil markets.
Philip Luck served as the deputy chief economist at the State Department under the Biden administration.
It's going to reduce demand for U.S. goods, and it's going to have a negative effect on the economy.
The tit for tat with China comes as proposed tariffs on Mexico and Canada are on pause for at least a month while negotiations over border security continue. Canada has promised more choppers, drones, and personnel, as well as a new position for a fentanyl czar. Mexico's president has promised 10,000 National Guard troops to help block the flow of drugs and migrants. But in the border town of Laredo, Texas, business owners who rely on the flow of trade are still worried.
With an extension of just 30 days, that doesn't push anything. The only thing it does is pushes the line. It doesn't erase the uncertainty.
Many say they're stocking up on Mexican goods now in case tariffs happen down the road, causing prices to increase. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
And happening today, President Trump will hold a joint news conference with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to discuss the ceasefire with Hamas. Yesterday, Netanyahu met with the president's Mideast envoy to discuss how this peace can hold and said he would send a delegation to Qatar to continue indirect negotiations with Hamas. Hamas holds 2 Americans believed to still be alive among the 79 hostages still in captivity. This will mark Trump's first formal news conference of his second term. Immigrant rights groups have taken legal action against the Trump administration's order to seal off the U.S.-Mexico border to asylum seekers. The suit cites President Trump's order invoked a section from the Immigration and Nationality Act. The groups argue the president's authority does not allow to expel non-citizens already in the U.S. Trump effectively suspended U.S. asylum law last month. The lawsuit does not seek a temporary restraining order. The American Civil Liberties Union says Trump is overriding Congress with his actions. Well, much colder outside today. First Four meteorologist Jacob Montesano has your certified most accurate forecast from the weather patio. Boy, we're feeling a difference out there, Jacob.
Yeah, definitely colder out here, but the good news is that we actually are seeing mostly sunny skies for now. We are going to see clouds develop a little bit later, but taking a look at these temperatures, they're in the teens for much of the area. Lows were in the single digits, even got a few areas close to below zero further north. And as we look at the temperature change from 24 hours ago, up to 15 to 20 degrees colder at least. Some areas over 20 degrees colder than this time yesterday. As we take a look at the current wind speeds, they were a bit breezy this morning, and wind chills were below zero for much of the area. Still kind of breezy, but the winds have calmed down a little bit, which has allowed the wind chills to get above zero again. But there are still a few areas holding on to that below zero wind chill value. But like I mentioned this morning, pretty much everyone saw those below zero wind chills. Now, we have good news and bad news. The good news is that we're not going to see wind chills below zero going forward, but we do have an alert day for the possibility of freezing rain and ice accumulation. Now, we're not expecting a lot, but when it comes to freezing rain and ice, it doesn't take a lot to create very slippery roads. Now, this is mainly for Wednesday afternoon through the evening. Looks like it'll clear out Wednesday night, but Thursday morning could still have some of those slippery roads. I'll talk more in detail about the forecast coming up a little bit later, and then we have another chance of snow towards next weekend. I'll have all those details coming up.
All right, much more active, Jacob. Thank you. Tomorrow, you have the chance to help people in need during our Day of Warmth telethon from 4 to 6:30. Volunteers from Kaiser Lincoln and Viridian Homes will answer your calls and raise as much money as possible to keep the Warm Cool Fund going. You can donate anytime online at kwwf.com. Still ahead for us on a Tuesday afternoon, Starbucks unveils its lineup of new Valentine's Day drinks, plus why the FDA says a recently recalled broccoli could be potentially deadly and where it was sold.
You're watching News 3 Now at noon.
President Donald Trump's proposed tariffs against Canada and Mexico are now on hold for a month after he spoke to the leaders of both countries yesterday. The president says the leaders of Mexico and Canada will move to help stop the flow of drugs and illegal migrants along the borders. On social media, President Trump claimed victory, posting that he is very pleased with this initial outcome. The FDA now says recalled broccoli florets sold at Walmart are potentially deadly. Braga Fresh recalled 12-ounce bags of ready-to-eat market-side broccoli florets in late December due to a possible listeria contamination. Yesterday, the FDA raised its classification of the recall to Class 1, indicating there is a serious risk of adverse health consequences or death associated with the product. The recalled broccoli is no longer on store shelves, but it was sold in roughly 20 states with a best buy date of December 10th. And Starbucks wants customers to fall in love with its new Valentine's Day drinks. Starting today, the chocolate-covered strawberry cream frappuccino and chocolate hazelnut cookie cold brew are available for a limited time. Starbucks is also selling heart-themed cups and tumblers while supplies last. That's your CBS News Money Watch report. For more, log on to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the CBS Broadcast Center, I'm Chanel Call.
Here's a look at the stock report at this hour. The Dow is up 55 points, NASDAQ up 176, and the S&P 500 also up this hour 29. Our call for action volunteers are in the building taking your consumer complaints and taking action on your behalf. You can call for action at 608-270-2833 or submit a claim anytime at channel3000.com/call-for-action. Pam Yankee has today's egg prices straight ahead, and Jacob returns with the first warn forecast. Then later on Live at 4, it is World Cancer Day. What you can do to modify risk factors to help prevent more cases. Welcome back. Let's check in now with Pam Yankee from the Midwest Farm Report. Hi, Pam.
Hi, Josh. Hey, happy National Canned Food Month, February, Canned Food Month. Kind of interesting when you take a deeper dive. I was intrigued. The Midwest Food Processors Association said this started back in 1987 to make sure that consumers really understand what's in those cans. For example, a can of sweet corn tastes less than 4 hours from the field before it's in the can. People might wrinkle their nose at canned food as far as nutritional value, worry about salt, but in reality, today, canned food is nothing but water, maybe a little sugar, maybe a little salt, maybe a little starch, and nothing else. So the nutritional nutritional value is there, and especially at this time of the year in Wisconsin, when you think about fresh, it's hard to define, is it really fresh? How long did it take that food to reach your local grocery store? So maybe a new appreciation for canned food, especially in light of some of the policies and talk about inflation going up. Now, when you find a deal on canned foods, maybe you'll feel a little bit more comfortable stocking up. USDA says that basically canned foods you can eat anytime so long as the can has not been dented or damaged. So a little something to think about. Plus, cans can be recycled. We're keeping an eye on what's happening in Washington, D.C., not just with the tariffs, but also Brooke Rollins. She is on her way to becoming our next USDA Ag Secretary. Yesterday, she passed the Senate Ag confirmation hearing, and now it's on to the full Senate. She did make mention yesterday, though, that Trump administration is well aware that tariffs can have a negative impact on farms and agribusinesses, and she said she's already had discussions with the president about putting in place some of the similar actions that they did in his first administration with market facilitation grants, basically checks that help to offset some of the losses that farms might experience depending on the tariffs. On the midday, so far, our markets are up. I think a lot of relaxed nerves now that they've paused those tariffs for a little bit. Barrel cheese today up 1.5 pennies at $1.80 1/2. 40-pound block cheese up 3 3/4 at $1.90. AA butter stands still. So again, for right now, a little bit of a sigh of relief on the discussion over tariffs with Mexico, Canada, China, the European Union. Markets are feeling pretty good right now, Josh.
And now you have me thinking about canned goods. There's some interesting tidbits for us today.
I know. And like I said, if you're looking to save some money, canned goods, when they run those specials, that may be the way to kind of go that route.
Oh, certainly. And check out that label. You never know. It might be right from our backyard. And you're still supporting local
That's
that
right.
way, too. All right, Pam,
Very
thanks
true.
for all the fun, great information. As always, we appreciate you.
You bet. See you later.
Well, we've got an alert day to talk about in the forecast. Meteorologist Jacob Montesano has the weather right here. And boy, we got a lot to break down, Jacob.
Yeah, we have 2 systems expected to impact our area over the next couple of days, and during that time, we're going to continue to see cold temperatures. Now, the first one is why we have the alert day. It's for some ice accumulation Wednesday, but then we're expecting snowfall on Saturday. I'll talk about that one in just a moment, but let's talk about the alert day first. Freezing rain and ice accumulation is the reason we have the alert day. This is for southern Wisconsin, Wednesday afternoon through Wednesday evening and into the overnight hours as well. So as we take a look at the forecast, we'll see clouds increase throughout the day, but although we may see a light flurry at times, we're going to be mostly dry throughout the entire day and night. By the time we get to Wednesday, starting out dry once again, but then we'll see some snow showers move through our area Wednesday afternoon. But the best chance of this freezing rain will be during the evening. However, the heaviest freezing rain will stay to the south of Wisconsin, but just because it doesn't show up on the forecast, it doesn't mean it won't be precipitating. And a lot of times with freezing rain, you kind of get this mist out there, which will all freeze over the road. So even though we aren't going to see a lot of precipitation falling at once, it may gradually cause some accumulation and likely create those slippery roads. Now, the best chance of that will be during the evening. Once we get to the overnight hours, temperatures will cool to the point where we're mostly going to see snow, still in the form of light snow, maybe a little bit more the further north you're located. But by Thursday morning, we're all expected to be dry. So as we take a look at the ice accumulation, may not seem like a lot, but this is enough to create those very slippery roads. Best chance of the ice accumulation will be south. Areas to the north may see mostly snow, which is why the ice accumulation is down a little bit. And as we look at the snowfall forecast, we could see about a ½ inch, maybe a full inch for northern counties. Madison could see about a dusting. But again, the further south, although you folks won't be seeing as much snow, you'll be seeing more ice. So timing all this out, the light snow is going to kind of begin earlier Wednesday and last throughout the night. For the ice accumulation, will mostly be mid-afternoon through the evening. So although we have a greater chance of some snowfall, it's still going to be pretty light when it does fall, which won't create too much snow accumulation. And it won't create a lot of ice accumulation either, but it doesn't take a lot to create those hazardous travel conditions. Now let's fast forward towards the weekend. This is Friday afternoon. We'll see cloudy skies. And then Friday night, it looks like we'll start to see some snow move into the area. Best chance of the accumulating snow for the system will be for northern counties and in central Wisconsin, at least right now. But throughout the day on Saturday, we are expecting some snow showers. And at this point in time, we're not expecting a huge amount of snowfall. I'm talking like up to 10 inches. Maybe that could be the case up here in central and northern Wisconsin, but definitely around the 2 to 5 inch range is in the ballpark at this point in time. But it is important to point out that a lot can still change between now and then. And obviously this weekend is the Super Bowl. I'm not sure how many people have planned Saturday, but we could be seeing some accumulating snow that could create some travel impacts, especially Saturday afternoon through the evening. The good news is that it looks like it will clear out overnight, and for Super Bowl Sunday we are expecting dry conditions, but we may still see some snowy roads following Saturday's snowfall. So taking a look at the 7 to 10 day forecast, didn't really touch on temperatures, but they're not going to change all that much. They'll warm up a little bit. 30s for tomorrow and Thursday, 20s for Friday, and then 30s, 20s over the weekend. Next week does look to be a bit cooler. We could have some days where highs are only in the teens. So overall, we'll see more winter-like temperatures compared to the last couple of days. And today was kind of that big transition day, although yesterday was fairly cool. So for tomorrow, again, we're not going to see a huge amount of moisture, snow, or freezing rain. But it's just the fact that with a little bit of freezing rain, it creates those very slippery roads. So definitely take it easy out there, especially Wednesday evening, but even into Thursday morning.
Yeah, I know streets crews are already out pre-treating the roadways today, trying to get ahead of it, but it still could get messy.
Yeah, we'll see how it all plays out.
All right, Jacob, thank you. Howard is counting down to Super Bowl Sunday in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Did you know that more food will be consumed during Sunday's big game than any other day of the year? Well, except for Thanksgiving. It's true. And while you won't find turkey and mashed potatoes on the menu, there's a pretty good chance your typical game day favorites will include chips and dip, pizza, wings, and lots of ice-cold beer. And if you're looking to add something new to your lineup, I suggest you add our honey barbecue chicken bites. And to make these flavor-packed bites, we mix together some crushed cornflakes with paprika, onion and garlic powder, and some salt and pepper, and we set that aside. Next, we cut up a couple of pounds of boneless, skinless chicken breast into 1-inch chunks. After dipping them in some beaten egg mixed with a little milk, we coat them with our seasoned cornflakes. Once they're baked, we'll drizzle them with a homemade honey barbecue sauce, and they're done. These are a nice change of pace from wings, since they're easy to eat and are better for us. To get the recipe for our honey barbecue chicken bites, simply visit our website. You might even want to make a double batch, since they'll disappear as fast as you make them. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a game-changing way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Next at noon, Angie Edge from Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin is back with a perfect dish for Valentine's Day. Edge from Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin. Hi, Angie.
Hi.
So you're helping us get ready for Valentine's Day.
Yes, of course. And you know, February is a month of love.
Yes,
and
it
who
is.
doesn't love Wisconsin cheese? So we have some great appetizer ideas. You know, it goes great with a couple glasses of wine. Just a fun little Valentine special, we're calling it.
And a way to support local, too.
Yeah, exactly. And we're really excited about this cheese because it's really, you know, a traditional cheese that actually was first made in France. But today we make a lot of it right here in Wisconsin. So it's the Saint Sauveur, which is a camembert style cheese that's made here in Wisconsin. So it's a baked camembert, which they're calling it brulee, kind of like a creme brulee. So it's been caramelized. So you have this the Saint Sauveur that you actually just slice the rind off so that the flavors really infuse in. And then there's some cinnamon and sugar that you bake into it. You broil that for about 3 to 5 minutes until it just starts to ooze out. And then we have a homemade apple chutney. So it's apples, it's Granny Smith's apples. There's some raisins and some vinegar. And
Put that right on top.
A really great dessert cheese as well. So I'm excited about the apple chutney. And then so many sweet flavors. So we have some cinnamon graham crackers, some apples, pears, you know, some really sweet treats, some chocolate that go great with the cheese as well.
This is so cool, you know, and I think that just goes to show just how creative you can get with cheese, even when it comes to a nice little dessert like this, too.
Yeah, and only if you have a couple minutes. It doesn't take a long time to make. You know, people make a baked brie in the oven. It doesn't take long at all. But the thing thing of it is it's a special cheese because the Saint Savior is actually made from the Guernsey milk at Hoard's Dairyman, and that's a farm not far from here in Fort Atkinson that's been around for 120 years. It's one of the oldest registered Guernsey cattle farms here. So, you know, great cheese starts with that high quality milk on our farm, and that gives you the great flavors throughout. So,
and then we get to enjoy it at home
yeah, exactly.
with our significant other, right?
Yes,
for Valentine's Day, or by yourself. It doesn't even matter.
Yeah, it's just a great little dessert. You can find this recipe on wisconsincheese.com. You can learn more about our cheese makers and cheeses. We're proud of the fact that this one's made by a Wisconsin master cheesemaker. It's rich, it's creamy, and it goes perfect for Valentine's Day.
Awesome, Angie. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Here's Jacob with a final check of your first warn weather.
Thanks, Josh. We're going to see clouds increase throughout the day, continuing to be cold, and then tomorrow we'll start out dry with that mixed precipitation later in the day, mostly in the form of snow and freezing rain. The further south you are, the more freezing rain you'll see. The further north, the more snow. We have the alert day for the ice accumulation, and then we have a second chance of snowfall, mostly snow, by the time we get to Saturday.
All right, Jacob, thank you. Thanks for joining us on this Tuesday afternoon. Have a great one. We'll see you back here tomorrow.